Okay. Hello everyone. Good morning. Am I audible? Good morning to all. Okay. So in the last lecture, we had completed, we have finished the unit number 4. Okay. And we had started unit number 5, the second unit of graph theory. Second unit to learn the fundamental of graph theory and some various application of graph theory. Okay. Unit name is representation of graph using the matrix. Okay. Uh, as we discuss in the unit number 4, how we can create a graph, how we can define it, what is it applications, clear, its result, properties, and so on. And now we learn that how we can represent graph by another way. Okay, so we can use the metric concept that to draw, okay, to represent any of the graph. Okay, so two types of relations we can consider in any of the graph. One is the adjacent relation, and second is the incidence relation. Okay, so we can consider two types of matrix by using the adjacency relation, that is known as the adjacency matrix. Okay, that we have finished in the unit last lecture. In adjacency relations, we have to consider a relation between vertex to vertex. Clear? If they are connected by one edge, direct edge, then we'll keep this entry as a 1. Otherwise, it is 0. Okay. So we consider the definition as a uh, the n vertices are given in the graph. Okay. So what will be the order of matrix? That will be n by n. Okay. N by n square matrix, and that is also symmetric matrix. Okay, we'll get also the A is equal to A transpose because it is symmetric always. So definitions for Aij means values of Aij that will consider as a 1 and 0 only. Okay, so when they are connected by a common edge, then we'll keep 1 that. Okay, if they are not connected by direct edge, then it will consider. Okay, so that is definitions we had finished in the last lecture, and these are the some counter example for that. So one of the graph is given here, which include the 6 vertices. So what will be the size of the matrix? 6 by 6. Okay, 6 row and 6 column. Clear? That is our size of the matrix. Depends on number of vertices. How many vertices are given to the graph? Okay. And then after we'll consider the vertex notations as a row. Okay, 6 row and 6 column. That is adjacency matrix here because we are checking relation between vertex to vertex. Okay. We just check the relation between vertex to vertex. They are adjacent or not. Okay. So first consider first row, that is for vertex v1, and map it to the all column. Okay, and column is also indicate the vertices v1 to v1, v1 to v2, v1 to v3 up to v6. Clear? So v1 to v1 means if there is a loop at the vertex v1, then it will be 1. If there is no any loop, then it is considered as a 0. Okay. So there is no any loop at the first vertex. Okay, that is a v1 here. So here we'll keep a 0. That is vertex v1. If it is a loop here, then we'll put a 1. Now v1 to v2. So v1 and v2 are connected by the e1. Okay, so here we'll consider 1. v1 and v3. So that is a v1 plus and that is a v3 plus. There is a path is exist. Okay, but not a direct edge. You can easily reach v1, v6 to v3. But there is no any direct connections from v1 to v3. Okay, so therefore they are not adjacent. Clear? So here it is 0. Then after v1 to v4, that is a v1 plus, that is a v4 plus. V4 vertex. They are also not adjacent. So here it was 0. Then v1 to v5, that is v1 and that is v5. So here we'll put a 1. And then after v1 and v6, that is a v1 and that is v6 here. So they are connected by one edge. So it will be 1. Okay. And do it for the second vertex. Consider the v2 and check it connection to rest of all the vertex. Okay. v2 to v1. Then after v2 to v2, there is no any loop. v2 to v3, so there is a one edge between v2 to v3. So here it is put entry 1. Okay. And then after derive all such value in matrix, clear, by using the 1 and 0. And that will be our answer. Clear? So that definitions we had discussed in the last lecture. And then after these observations, one of the first observation is that if there is no any loop, okay, if there no any loop, then diagonal entry will be 0. Okay, all the diagonal number will be 0. If there is a loop at any of the vertex, then we'll keep this entry as a 1, means a11, a22, a33 up to the a the principal diagonal number. Okay, that will be 1 if any loop is contained. And we can also check the degree if the no any loop. If there is no any loop in the graph, we can also check the degree from the matrix. The number of 1 appear in the column and row that indicate the answer of degree. Okay, so that part we had finished in the last lecture. Clear? And this whole example we had discussed. And then after we also discuss the reverse part. If we have matrix is there, then how we can create it graph. Okay, that we also verify. And then after we also consider these definitions of incidence matrix. Here we'll check relation between a vertex with edge. Okay? Any of the particular vertex and check it connection with all the edges. If they are connected, then it will be 1. If they are not connected, then it is 0. Okay. So definition is that let G be the graph with m vertices and n edges. Then what will be the size of the matrix? M by n. Okay, m cross n. M indicate a number of vertex and n indicate number of edges. So first observe the graph. Check how many vertices the graph involve. Okay, how many vertices graph exist, and then check number of edges also. Based on this value, will define the size of the matrix. Clear? If the graph contains 4 vertex and 5 edges, then size of the matrix will be 4 by 5. Okay, 4 row and 5 column. Clear? So that depends on the number of vertex and number of edges. So what will be the size? And where m row corresponding to the m vertices. Clear? The vertex value indicate the number of row. If there are 5 vertex, then it indicates 5 row to the matrix. If the graph has 6 vertices, then it indicates 6 row to the matrix. Clear? And n column corresponding to the n edges. Clear? If the graph involves 7 edges, then it indicates 7 column. Clear? If the graph has 3 edges only, then it indicates 3 column to the matrix. Clear? So vertex indicate the row and column edges indicate the column. And now for entries, we'll use the binary number only 1 and 0. So when we'll put a 1, if the vertex is connected, is incidence with this edges, then we'll put a 1. If this particular vertex is not incidence with this vertex, with this edges, then we'll keep a 0. Okay. So jth edge is incidence on ith vertex, then we'll put a 1. Otherwise, it is a 0. Okay. So let's consider this example. And that is answer of this one. Size of the matrix. First, we'll check clear of this graph. 4 vertices are there. Clear? and how many edges? 6 edges. Clear? 4 by 6. 4 vertices are given to the graph. Okay, A, B, C, and D, and 6 edges are mentioned. Clear? 6 edges are defined in this graph. So what will be the size of the incidence matrix? Clear? It is a 4 by 6. Clear? Here it is a 4 is the row. That is 4 indicate the row and 6 indicate the column. Okay, 4 by 6, m cross n. That is a 4 by 6. Clear? Now we will check this value. Clear? So mention the notation as per the given in the graph. Okay. It is not compulsory you to mention this A, B, C, D and E1, E2, E3, E4, E5. That is for our reference. Okay. To remove such error and so on, we will mention it here. Clear? And then after we will derive this all the value. Clear? So that is 4 vertex indicate the 4 column, 4 row. Okay. Vertex A, that is for first row. Vertex B, the second row, 3, C for the third row, and D for the fourth row. Okay. And 6 edges are mentioned. Okay. Name is also mentioned to the all the edges. E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6. Okay. Now how we can derive this 1 and 0? So consider the first vertex here and check it incidence relation with all the edges. Okay, consider first vertex and check it relation with all the edges. Clear? So first vertex is A. So A is at that place and A and E1. Okay, that relation is known as the incidence relation. A is connect with the E1. Okay, A is connected with the E1. So that relation is called incidence relation. A is not connect with the E3. Okay, A is not connected with the E3. So A and E3 are not incidence relation. Okay, they are directly connected. A and E1. Similarly, A and E6 is also incidence relation. A and E2 is also incidence relation. But A with E4, that is not incidence relation. Okay. So based on this definitions, we'll put a 1. So A with E1, that is a connected here. So we'll keep a 1. A with E2, that is also connected. So we'll put a 1 here. A with E3, there is no any connection A with E3. Okay. You can easily derive the path A to E3, but it is not incidence relation. Okay. So it is 0. A with E4, that is a E4 edge here. So that is also 0. A with E5, that is E5 edge. There is no any connection with A of the E5 edge. So it is 0. And A with E6, that is also a 1. Okay. So that is for first row. Is it clear? We'll keep one vertex and check it connection with all the edges. Clear? In adjacent matrix, we consider one vertex and check it connection with all the vertex. That is known as an adjacent matrix. But in incidence, we consider in incidence matrix, we consider one vertex and check it connection with all the edges. Okay, that is the difference between adjacency and incidence relation. Okay. Now do it for second vertex B and check it connection with all the edges. Okay. So B with E1, that is also connected. B or E1 connected, so we'll put a 1. B with E2, that is 0, that is E2 edge, and there is no any relation between B and E2. Clear? So that is 0. Similarly for B with E3, that is also connected, so it is 1. B with E4, it is 0. E5, it is 1, and E6, it is 1. Okay, that is E5 and E6, it is 1. And same for third vertex. Clear? For a C. So C is connected with E2, E4, E5. E2, E4, E5. So put there 1, E2, E4, E5, and rest of entry will be 0. Okay. And same for D. So D is connected with E3 and E4 only. So put there 1, E3, E4 plus, and rest of entry will be 0. Okay. So that is known as the incidence matrix of this graph. Is it okay? Any confusion? And based on that, we'll observe this all the relation. Every vertex, every edge is incidence on exactly 2 vertices. So each column in the of incidence matrix has exactly 2 times of 1. As we know that, okay, every edge, कोई भी edge है, ठीक है? Every edge has a 2 end point, ठीक है? Here it is A and B. So E1 has a 2 end point A and B. Okay, E6 has also 2 end point A and B. Clear? E2 has also 2 end point A and C. Clear? Every edge, कोई भी edge आप define करोगे तो it has a 2 end point. Clear? A starting point and ending point means. Clear? So here, if you observe this each column, clear? Observe the each column of this matrix. So in this each column it has a 2 times of 1. Okay, सभी column में 2 ही बार 1 repeat होगा. ठीक है, there is no any 3 times of 1 in each column. Clear? Why it is only 2 times of 1? Because E1 is connected with A and B only. Clear? E1 has 2 endpoint A and B only. E2 has 2 endpoint A and C only. Therefore, it is indicate A and C plus. E3 has 2 endpoint B and D only. Clear? So therefore, it exists 2 times of 1 because every edge has a 2 endpoint. Clear? So therefore, each column indicate the 2 times of 1. The number of 1 in each row equal to the degree of the corresponding vertex. Clear? Now check number of 1 in each row that indicate the degree of that particular vertex. Clear? So first row indicate for a first vertex, second row indicate for second vertex, and so on. Clear? So first row, how many ones appear in the first row? 3 times of 1. Clear? So what is meaning of this 3? Okay, that is equal to the degree of that particular vertex. Okay? And you can also verify the answer, the degree from the graph. Okay? So how many edges are connected with the A? 3 edges. So degree of the A is equal to 3. Okay? Similarly, for second row, that is also 3 times of 1. And what is the degree of B? That is also 3 from the graph. 4 times of 1. So degree of B is equal to 4. Okay. As you can see here, how many edges are connected with the B? That is the top corner vertex. Okay. That is also 4. Clear? C has a degree 3. So 3 times of 1 appear in the third row. And D has a degree 2. So there are 2 times of 1 appears in the last row. Clear? So number of ones appear in the corresponding row that indicate the degree of that particular vertex. Okay? And all 0 in any row, if all entry are 0, so what does it mean? Okay, that represent an isolated vertex. Clear? If you consider one isolated vertex in this graph, okay, let us consider one fifth vertex E. Clear? Here it is a plus E. Now there is no any connection with all the vertex. Clear? What does it mean? If that degree of this vertex is 0, so degree of any vertex is 0, that vertex is called isolated vertex. Okay, as we know that isolated vertex definition. The degree of this vertex, if it is 0, then it is known as isolated vertex. Means E has only single vertex. There is no any edge is connected with the E. Okay? So when we consider the matrix of this E, what will be the output in the fifth row? All entry are 0 क्योंकि E किसी के साथ भी connected नहीं है. ठीक है? There is no any connections of E with all the edges. Clear? So all the entry will reflect as a 0 in the last row. Clear? So what does it mean? That vertex is isolated vertex. And last one, parallel edges in a graph produce identical column in incidence matrix. Clear? अगर graph में कोई parallel edges है in your graph, if it is a parallel edges, then this column will be the identical column. Clear? So here E1 and E6 are parallel edges. Why it is parallel edges? Because it has the same endpoint A and B. So E1 and E6 are parallel edges. Clear? So that indicate the identical column. That is E1 first column and the last column. They are identical. Means entry are same. 1 1. Second entry is also 1 1, and rest of both entry are 0. Clear? So that will be same if the two edges are identical. Then this two column also reflect the same answer. Clear? Because they are the same end point. So up to this we had discussed in the last lecture. Clear? Definition of incidence and definition of adjacency matrix. Clear? And one of the example of incidence matrix. Now some more example is given here. Let's verify it one by one, and then we'll start the next topic. So we'll look the incidence matrix of the following graph. Okay, title clearly will be mentioned in the exam also. Okay, which matrix you have to derive. Okay. So here you have to derive incidence matrix for the following graph. Graph is already mentioned. Clear? How many vertices that? 4 vertices. And how many edges? 7 edges. So it reflects the 4 by 7 matrix. Clear? 4 indicates the vertex, 4 row, and 7 edges means it indicates 7 column. Okay, so it is a 4 by 7 matrix. अब matrix की size क्या होगी? 4 cross 7. Clear? So mention the notation if it is required. It is not compulsory you to mention ABCD there and 1 2 3 4 5 7 and so on. That is for our reference. Clear? To remove the error and so on. So first vertex A and check it connection with all the 7 edges. Okay? So here it is E1, E2, E3 notation. That means it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. We can also consider E1, E2, E3, E4. That's arbitrary notation. Clear? Arbitrary notation. So A is incidence with E1 and E5 only, 1 and 5 only. So replace that entry as a 1 and 5. And rest of entry put 0. Okay. सभी को check करना जरूरी नहीं. Just check that which edge are connected with the A. ठीक है? And that connection reflects 1 and 0. ठीक है? 1 and 5. E1 and E5. So replace that entry as a 1. And rest of entry directly put a 0. Okay. Second vertex is a B. So B is connected with the 1, 2, 4, 7. 1, 2, 4, 7. Okay. So replace 1, 2, 4, 7 as a 1 and rest of entry put a 0. Okay. That is a plus 1, B1, B2, B4 and B7. Entry as a 1 and rest of 3 entry will be a 0. Okay. Next is a C. So C is connected with the E2, E3, E6, E7. E2, E3, E6, E7. Okay. The sequence. E2, E3, E6, E7 reflect their 1 and rest of entry put a 0. Okay. And then for last one, there is a E3, E4, E5, E6. E3, E4, E5, E6. D. It has a 4 degree. So E3, E4, E5, E6 as a 1 and rest of the entry will be 0. Okay. And you have to verify that each column should contain the 2 times of 1. Okay, how we can verify this correct answer or not? सभी कॉलम में 2 बार 1 रिपीट होना चाहिए. ठीक है? If any place has one time entry of 1 only, then it is incorrect. ठीक है? So each column should contain the 2 times of 1. Okay? And then after check the row and check the number of 1 that should be equal to the degree of that particular word. ठीक है? So here it is a 2 times of 1. So degree of A is a 2. And rest of 3 vertexes is degree 4. So you can see that second row, third row, and fourth row involve the 4 times of 1. Okay, so because rest of 3 vertex is degree 3. And here 2 edges are parallel edges. Clear? E2, E7 and E3, E6. They are parallel edges. Clear? As you can clearly see that. B and C. So E2 and E7 are known as a parallel edges. Clear? E2, E7 are parallel edges. So check second column and seventh column. They are identical. Okay. They are same. And similarly, E3, E6, third column and sixth column, they are also same. Okay. Third and sixth column, they are also identical. Here, why it is identical? Because it has a parallel edge. 32nd graph. How many vertex is that? 6 vertices. And how many edges? 7 edges. Clear? So size of the matrix will be that is 6 vertex and 7 column. Okay, 6 by 7. 6 vertex and 7 column. Okay. Here notation is not mentioned there, but if it is required, you can mention to the column. Okay, as well as the row. Clear? If it is required, but if you can derive the directly answer, then it is not required to mention it here. Okay. If it is required, just keep here A, then after B, C, D, E, and F. Okay. And here it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Clear? These are arbitrary notation. In place of ABCD, if I change the place of ABCD, clear? So in place of the first row, I will get different row. Clear? If I interchange this ABCD, suppose A की जगह मैं C कर देता हूँ, B की जगह D कर देता हूँ, ठीक है? If I interchange the notation, clear? Then row also will be interchanged. Clear? Right now, this first row indicate for first vertex A. Clear? Second row indicate for second vertex B. Third row indicate for third vertex C, and so on. Clear? If I interchange that, if I interchange the notation, then row also will be interchanged. Clear? That is the answer for the sequence A, B, C, D. If I interchange the sequence, then row also will be interchanged. Clear? So here, first vertex is A, has a degree 4, and just check that which edges are connected 1, 2, 4, 6. Replace their 1 and rest of 3 entry put a 0. Okay, 1, 2, 4, 6. These edges are connected with the A. So that will be 1 and rest of entry will be 0. Okay. Now for second row, B is connected with 1, 2, and 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and rest of this number is considered as a 0. Okay. That is a 1, 2, and 4. Okay. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. That is a vertex B here. So that is connected with 1, 2, 3, and rest of 4 entry is 0. Okay. C is connected with 5, 6, 7. That vertex is a C. Okay. So rest of first 4 entry will be 0 and remaining 3 entry will be 1. D is connected with 3, 4, 5. So put there 1 and rest of first 2 and last 2 entry will be 0. And now for E. In that case, it is isolated vertex. Clear? In this graph, it is isolated because E is not connected with any other. Clear? There is no any connection of E with any edges. Clear? Means this vertex treated as an isolated vertex. Okay? So if we derive this answer, okay, consider the connection, incidence connection of E with all the edges, that all the answer will be a 0. Okay? So in the fifth row, all the answer are 0. Okay? Why it is 0? Because E is isolated. Clear? E is isolated. And now F is indicate the pendant vertex. Okay, the vertex F. It is pendant vertex. Why it is pendant? Because degree of the F is a 1. Clear? Degree of the F is a 1. So that vertex is pendant vertex. So that reflect only one output as the last one. Okay, seventh number is incidence with the F. So 0, 0, 0 up to the 1. Clear? So that is a matrix for this graph. Clear? And you have to verify that okay, each column should contain the 2 times of 1. Each column should contain the 2 times of 1 in this matrix. Clear? सभी column में 2 बार 1 exist होना चाहिए. ठीक है? If it is a 3 times, 4 times, then it is a error. Otherwise, you have to derive the wrong answer. Okay, you have to derive the wrong data in the matrix. Clear? And then after check the degree concept, each row should contain the number of 1 and that equal to the degree of that particular vertex. Clear? So degree of A is a 4, B is a 3, C and D has also 3, F has a 1 and E has a 0. So check that. It will be also verified. Clear? So that is for this graph. And then after now here it is number of vertex and number of edges are different. That is 7 edges and 6 vertex. Okay, 7 by 6. Sorry, 6 by 7. 6 vertex are that and 7 edges. Okay? Yeah. And now without notation, how we can predict the answer? Without notation. Okay? That is 6 by 7. I not mention any of the notation here. So my first row that I consider for any vertex. Okay? Right now you follow the sequence here A, B, C, D and so on. But the first row you can consider for any vertex. Okay? You can start with the D first. You can start with the A first. You can start with the C first. Any vertex you can consider. This row will be interchange. Okay? For that particular vertex. Clear? This row will be interchange. The rest of data will be same. Clear? So now that is for first vertex A. Clear? So A is connect with the E1 and E4. So first column and fourth column में आपको 1 put करना है, बाकी सब जगह पे 0. Okay? First means E1 and E4 means fourth column. ठीक है? B is connected with E1 and E2. तो first और second column में आपको 1 put करना है and rest of all the entry put a 0. Okay? C is connected with 4 edges E2, E3, E5, E6. So put there 1 and rest of entry put a 0. Okay? Same for D. So D is connected with E3, E4. So in third and fourth column put a 1. Okay? Third and fourth column. Here this entry. Third and fourth column put a 1 and rest of entry are 0. Okay? Then after D is, E is connected with E5, 7. So that is E5 is 1. Okay? Fifth column and seventh column. Put a 1 and rest of entry put a 0. And last is a F. So F is connected with E6, E7. So replace their 1 and rest of 5 entry put a 0. Clear? So that is the answer of this. It's very easy, not a difficult. Okay. First, observe the graph. Okay. And then after, check it. That is also one. Okay. That is verify. That is for your practice. And now second part is that, okay, we have one matrix is that, okay. And title is that, okay, derive the graph. Okay. Draw the graph by using the following incidence matrix. Draw the graph by using following incidence matrix. तो मैट्रिक्स में से आपको ग्राफ बनाना. ठीक है, मैट्रिक्स में से आपको ग्राफ डिफाइन करना है, ड्रॉ करना है. अप टू दिस क्वेश्चंस वी कंसीडर वन ऑफ द ग्राफ एंड यू हैव टू क्रिएट इट मैट्रिक्स. ठीक है, अभी तक क्या था कि हमारे पास कोई ग्राफ था एंड वी हैव डिराइव वन ऑफ दिस मैट्रिक्स. क्लियर? बट नाउ वी हैव इट मैट्रिक्स दैट एंड नाउ यू हैव टू क्रिएट इट डिजाइन. ठीक है, यू हैव टू क्रिएट इट graphical representation. So which data we have to consider first? First we'll check it order. Okay, and based on that order we'll get idea okay, how many vertex I will consider in my graph. Okay, and how many edges also I'll consider in my graph. Okay, so first you have to verify the order, you have to check the order. That is a 5 by 6. Clear? 5 row है और 6 column. ठीक है, 5 by 6 matrix. So what does it mean? In my matrix, okay, there is a 5 row and 6 column, so that indicate 5 vertex and 6 edges. Okay, what does it mean? That indicate 5 vertex to the graph and 6 edges to the graph. Okay, so 5 vertex और 6 edges से आपको ग्राफ बनाना है. ठीक है, you cannot include 5 edges, you cannot include 7 edges, but you to take only 6 edges and only 5 vertex to create this design. Okay, so let's start it. And you can put the notation here if it is required. Okay, and to remove the error also. Okay, let us take that is a vertex A. First vertex indicate A, second row indicate the vertex B, third row indicate for vertex C, fourth row indicate for vertex D, and fifth row indicate for vertex E. Okay, you can any notation you can keep. Okay, V1, V2, V3, V4, any notations you can consider that. And here it is the first edge is E1, that is second edge E2, third edge E3, E4, E5, E6. Okay, first we'll check it. Clear? The order, and as per the order we'll consider vertex and edges. And then after, if notation is not mentioned there, then keep any arbitrary notations to the matrix. Okay? That is for our reference. It is also not compulsory that you have to mention it, but that is for our reference and for verification. And then after, in next step you have to put 5 vertex in any form. Okay? 5 vertex को plot करना है कोई भी form में, any of the position you can consider. That is vertex A, it is a B, C, D, and E. Okay, that is your next step. You have to keep 5 vertex in any position. Okay, as per the position of vertex, you will derive the graph. Clear? And now in next step में क्या करना है कि आपको सभी कॉलम को कंसिडर करना है. ठीक है, collect each column now. So first column indicate the E1. Okay, first column indicate the E1 edge. ठीक है, first column indicate the E1 edge, and as we know that each column indicate the 2 times of 1. सभी column में क्या होगा, 2 बार 1 ही आएगा. ठीक है, each column indicate the 2 times of 1. तो उस 1 को आपको कंसिडर करना है. ठीक है, उस जहां पे 1 डिफाइन हो रहा है उस वैल्यू को आपको कंसिडर करना है. तो जस्ट ऑब्जर्व द फर्स्ट कॉलम and which place is 1 there, at the place A and at the place D. ठीक है, consider the first column of this graph, okay, of this matrix, and that is for E1 edge. Okay, that indicate for E1 edge. First column indicate the E1 edge. And now check the entries of the 1 to the column. 1 की एंट्री को चेक करना है. ठीक है, तो 1 कहां पे प्लेस्ड है, in the first row and in the fourth row. Okay, means in the place of A, vertex A, and the place of D. So what does it mean? E1 is connected in between A and D. Clear? The E1 edge, it is connected in between A to D. You have to connect A and D by one edge and mention the notations for the edge, that is a E1. Again I repeat that. First you have to consider the first column. Okay, mention all the notation, required notation, and then after just observe the each column. Okay, so start with the first column. So first column is indicate for E1 edge. Okay, उससे आपको क्या पता चलेगा कि that is for E1 edge. Okay, and now check the entries of the 1 to this column. 1 की एंट्री को चेक करना है कहां पे 1 placed है. ठीक है, 2 बार 1 आएगा. ठीक है, so at which place the entry of 1 is placed. ठीक है, so here it is in first row and the fourth row, means the place of A and the place of D पे 1 define हो रहा. ठीक है, so what does it mean? You have to connect the A and D. A and D को connect करना है ग्राफ में and give the notations of the edge, that is a E1. Okay, that is first connection, first edge to the graph. Now check the second column, and that will create a second edge of the graph. Okay, so second edge it is for E2, and E2 are in the second column. The one is mentioned in the second row and in the fifth row, means in the place of B and place of E. So what does it mean? You to create one edge between B to E. B और E के बीच में एक edge बनानी है, and give the notations, give the name of the edge that is equal to the E2. Okay. So connect B and D, B and E, and the edge name is a E2. Okay. Now consider the third column, that is for E3 edge. So E3 is mapped as a B and C. Okay. In the second and third row पे one define हो रहा है third column में, ठीक है. So what does it mean? E3 are mapped in between B to C. E3 is a mapped in between B and C. तो create one edge between B and C. B और C के बीच में एक edge बनानी है, and that you have to call as a E3 edge. So that is the third edge, E3. Okay. Now for fourth column, and check it connection of fourth column. That is placed in between C and E. Okay. In the fourth column, the number of 1 appears in the third row and the fifth row, means C and E. So what does it mean? E4 is mapped in between C and E. So connect the C and E and consider the notations. That is a C and E. Okay. That is edge name is a E4. Clear? C और E को connect करना. And then after fifth column, that is mapped in between C and D. Okay, that is mapped in between C and D. So connect the C and D, and that the edge name is a E5. Okay, and then after last one, E6. So E6 are in between D to E. Clear? The last two entries are the one, and that indicate D and E. So connect the D and E, and that is our graph. Clear? And then after you can verify the graph by using the degree concept. Okay, so first row indicate how many ones, only 1 times of 1. Okay, in the first row we have only 1 times of 1. So what does it mean? Degree of S will be 1. In the second row indicate 2 times of 1. So what does it mean? Degree of B will be 2. So B की degree graph में 2 रहनी चाहिए, ठीक है? That is a 2 there. And third row indicate 3 times of 1. So what does it mean? Degree of C should be 3. Okay. Fourth row indicate 3 times of 1. So degree of D should be also 3. And last row indicate also 3 times of 1. So degree of E should be 3. Okay. There is a degree 3. There is degree 3. That is degree 3. That is a 2, and that is 1. Okay. Is it clear? Any confusion? Okay. You have to check each column to create graph by using incidence matrix. Okay. So to consider each column to create graph by using incidence matrix, and check that at which place 1 is mapped. 2 बार 1 मैप्ड होगा सभी कॉलम में. कहाँ पे वो मैप है उसको सिर्फ चेक करना है, और उन 2 वर्टेक्स के बीच में एक एज बनानी. ठीक है. दैट इज द एज नोटेशन. Okay, that is answer is already mentioned here in this PPT. Now second graph. Here it is. Data is that 6 by 8. Okay, 6 vertex. ठीक है. 6 is the row and 8 is the column. ठीक है. 6 by 8. 6 by 8. Okay. So consider 6 vertex in any position. These are the 6 vertex. Give the notation as A, B, C, D, E, and F. It is E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, E8. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, and F. So A are in between A2, D, and E. So connect D and E first, and that is edge name is a E1. Okay. Second column indicate also the same. Okay. First and second are identical. Okay, as you can see, first column and second column are identical. What does it mean? Okay, there is a parallel edge between D to E. ठीक है. 2 edge बनानी है between D to E. ठीक है. that is for E1. And now create another edge that indicate the parallel form. Okay, that is a E2. Now E3, that is in between. Sorry, B over A. Just I forgot. Just wait a minute. That B और A को कनेक्ट करना है. There is E1. यहाँ पे F है, ठीक है. And again consider parallel. That is E2. Now connect D and E. That is known as E3. That is E3. Okay. Then after E4 is between A and E. Connect A to E. That is known as E4. Then after E5 in between B and D. Connect B and D. That is called the E5. E6 means A to B. Connect A to B. That is called the E6. E7 is in between B and E. Connect B and E. That is called the E6. Then after E7 in between yeah, I think A to B is E6, that is E7. And E8 in between, that is E7. So if you change the position of vertex, ठीक है, अगर आप vertex की position change कर देते हो, you will get a different cell. ठीक है, you will get a different cell, but that is also a correct answer. ठीक है, I consider this place for the vertex, so I get this graph. ठीक है, but if you change the place of the vertex, ठीक है, A की जगह पे आपने D लिखा है, D की जगह पे आपने A लिखा है, ठीक है, C की जगह पे B लिखा है, you will get different geometry or different geometrical representation, but that also will be correct. ठीक है, so that will be your answer. ठीक है, okay, can we create the matrix, can we create the graph by using this matrix? Just try to draw it. Is it possible or not? Okay, it will be not possible. Why it is not possible? When we create the graph by using this data, okay, which problem you will face? Let us consider 4 vertex. ठीक है, 4 vertex मैंने place किए as per the order. It is A, B, C, and D. Okay, and now let's start to connecting it. So first stage, ठीक है, in the data of the first column, there are 3 times of 1. 3 times of 1. So what does it mean? This age is connect with the A, C and D also. So it is not possible. ठीक है, दिस फर्स्ट एज, सो फर्स्ट कॉलम में 3 बार 1 रिपीट हो रहा है, तो उसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि जो एज है फर्स्ट एज, दैट इज इंसिडेंस विथ ए, सी एज वेल एज डी. ठीक है, सो इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू मैनेज ओनली वन एज विच इज इंसिडेंस विथ ऑल द 3 वर्टेक्स. ठीक है, इफ यू क्रिएट दिस टाइप ऑफ सिचुएशन, दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. ओके, we connect A and C, so that are I connect it, clear, and I also create this edge is also connect with the D, so you cannot add this edge here, that is not true. Clear, that is not possible, that is different edge in between C and D. Clear. So if it is asked as a counter example, okay, a question asked in such a way that verify this matrix is the incidence matrix, and then after draw the graph by using incidence matrix. So first you have to verify that. Okay, पहले उसको verify करना. In each column should contain the 2 times of 1. Each column should contain the 2 times of 1. That is verification. Okay, and then you can draw the graph. If any column contain 1 times of 1, for example, if I remove this 1 here, okay, मैं यहाँ पे 1 remove कर देता हूँ. ठीक है, I consider 0 here, and now let's create the graph. So it is in between A and C, second in between B and C, that is in between B and C, third in between A to B, that is the third edge, the fourth edge, okay, that is only 1 is that. In the fourth column there is only 1. There is only 1. So we cannot consider open edge. Okay? If I consider fourth edge, okay, from B, so I cannot consider this form of this edge. Okay? Every edge should be the end point. So I cannot create edge from this from the vertex B. Clear? एक ही बार 1 हो रहा है, एक ही बार 1 exist हो रहा है. So I cannot create edge in such a way. Clear? As well as I cannot create a loop also. Okay? So first verify the matrix. Clear, each column should contain the 2 times of 1, and then after start to draw the graph. Okay, so that is a part of matrix theory. Okay, in the yes. There is no any that is easy that you can verify the degree of that loop, that okay, degree will be 4, but we have no any provisions for a loop. Clear? Okay, so that is we'll start one different topic. Clear? That is known as a cut vertex, fundamental cycle, circuit, okay, isomorphism theory, and so on. Clear? And most probably next week we'll also finish this unit. Okay, so we'll keep up to this, and next lecture we'll discuss the next topic. Just wait for 1 minute, we'll finish the attendance, and then we'll conclude this session.